You're such an asshole.
Hello, children. We have an interesting request. I enjoy when we go counter, not necessarily to our own narrative. I don't believe we have a narrative. We just focus on empiricism. But we do need to make some qualifications and always kind of question ourselves or view things in a different light. Dear greetings, Cappy. I'm interested in your thoughts on an alternative take on professional sports. I've heard you talk about the downside of it, in particular, men wearing other men's jerseys, the cost, opportunity cost for tickets, gear, etc., the stolen valor aspect, arbitrary religious allegiance to the team. I agree with each of these points, especially the religious aspect. I would venture to say that is the men's equivalent of identity politics. I've seen numerous examples of fans looking the other way if a crime was committed by one of their team's players. At the same time, they want a player from the opposing team locked up for a lesser offense. Man, if you're getting into the drama of different teams, you didn't lock up Tom Brady, but let Aaron Rodgers go free. Character and actions mean little compared to the name of the front of the jersey. I do think professional sports has some great things to offer, although I admit that only a select few consciously learn the lessons. Here's my list of benefits that pro sports can provide. Aspirational role models, whether it's the work ethic of an Ichiro, the resolve of a Brady, or the willingness to take the shot like Jordan, athletes are the clearest way to illustrate positive traits to the masses. As men, I'll agree with that because you could see them all the time and you see them doing incredible physical feats. As men and a society as a whole become weaker, anything that could show the benefits of hard work, determination, perseverance, and courage is desperately needed. Got me there? Yep, I agree. Keep in mind, I've never had a problem with the athletes. It's the fans. Rosetta Stone for meritocracy. Sports seems to be the only place where people under the sway of the Democrat Party can understand the concept of merit. Whenever anyone starts talking about quotas and how important they are, I simply agree and mention how we need to do something about the abhorrent underrepresentation of Filipinos and Vietnamese in the NBA. The reaction is usually quite entertaining. I get the same reaction when Democrats start their own business. Usually they become realtors or something. They, by blind luck, make money, but don't pay their estimated taxes. Like, it's my money. I was just virtue signaling. I didn't mean something that's not my money. I mean your money. They often will make the argument that only the best should be in the NBA, NFL, etc. I agree and ask if it shouldn't be that way for college jobs and everything else. That's usually when their brain breaks and the NPC programming takes over. It leaves them troubled. Well, yeah, you expose them in the hypocrisy. I don't know if I call it the Rosetta Stone, but it's a silver bullet to make your point. But good luck getting humans to ever leave the perfect mental state. Good luck getting them to abandon their cognitive dissonance. They want to feel good and advocate the popular thing, but with no work. And they don't want to be pointed up about how it's contradictory, ergo how it's not possible in the real world. Just let them live their lie and die, okay, damn it? Trans women in sports. This is the ultimate in enjoying the decline. Watching cognitive dissonance play out in real time as people can't define what a woman is, and women's sports implodes because people don't want to offend anyone. Oh, isn't it the greatest? I'm gonna make a broad generalization here. All right. Women's desire for survival, which is what it's anchored in. I should say women's desire to be popular and to say the acceptable thing and take the acceptable position in order to survive. Because if they got mouthy back in the caveman days, they would be ostracized and die. So it's hardwired in there for them to remain popular is now destroying their careers and professions. It's like what was it there? A beauty pageant where all the women were really excited that they lost to a guy. Have fun with your life, ladies. The next few years of this is going to be very interesting. Curious to hear your thoughts on this. Keep me anonymous, if you will. You're a place, boo, boo, boo. Email response or video at your place. I decided video because it's an interesting topic of conversation. Assuming this is a topic you're interested in discussing. On a side note, you've worked in the field. I don't want to identify you. Let's just say that the way into that profession completely supports your position on how worthless a college degree is. Literally 2 phone calls, and I was on the field as a young man with no experience working. Degree would not have helped. Well, look, your overall, it's not wrong. Absolutely not. I mean, how many young kids, going back to my generation, did Michael Jordan inspire to have a harder work ethic? Now, a lot of them, I'm going to play basketball. All right, maybe you skewed that way. But I remember, I mean, Michael Jordan is just such a phenomenal athlete. It's like Tom Brady today. While they might, well, I'm going to become a basketball player. Hold on there, kid. But there was no doubt that Michael Jordan exemplified and made people want to pursue excellence in some kind of capacity. I mean, how many kids had Michael Jordan, slam dunk poster up on their wall? And you're right. Like that's the athletes, which I've never had a problem with. Those guys bust their asses off. They bust their asses off. We're talking the top 1,000 of 1,000th of 1% of people in physical ability to do the various sports, whatever it is. I mean, I'm really impressed. I watch women's golf. You know why? Because golf isn't necessarily a power sport. It's precision. Like, man, look, you got it. Holy cow, look how close you got it to the hole. Holy cow. I don't mind watching that. I don't even necessarily mind watching the Olympics where, you have the peak, this is the fastest man alive. And even though I don't think you can judge it empirically, like figure skating, women or men, like look at that acrobat. Look at that. That's kind of cool to watch. But at no point in time do I derive any kind of value. But to watch humans pursue excellence to that level and perform and compete, that is nothing but good for people to see in terms like, look at here is excellence on display. And you should envy that in a good way. You should pursue it. You should aim. Maybe we don't all become Tom Brady. Maybe we all don't become Michael Jordan. But you should aim for that, or in your own particular capacity or regard. But what I think I think what we're talking about is the difference between the athletes and the fans. I hate the fans. I hate them, and I'm okay if you're a Dodgers fan. You take an occasional game, you have fun, you watch the game, you're hanging out with your buddies. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, absolutely nothing. But where I get to it is, I think where we all kind of agree, where your average, I do mean average, your average American has nothing else in their life, and they use this to fill up, and that's where they get emotional all about the Vikings not winning or the Packers winning. Where their psychology, their happiness is dependent on a game. Sometimes their life, God, I remember I had tenants one time, big Vikings fan, and they were so poor they couldn't afford the game. Well, but games are kind of expensive, but they would get the stupid Viking hat hair, and they get all excited. You hear them yelling or screaming, depending on whether the Vikings scored or didn't. And they were fat. Yeah, they were fat. They were, I think, in their 50s. They were miserable. Outside of that, it's like, that's a wasted life. And so I think as long as you don't make they don't become your idols, like you don't worship them, you envy them, they become role models. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's great. And let's say you got a kid in sports, and they're doing really well. You should take pride in that. Absolutely. Yeah, go cheer you. Hell, go watch your son play baseball. Watch your daughter play volleyball while you still have them and they don't move out, and be proud of that, because that's your kid. You love them. But once the kids are out, like, okay, you're gonna fill it in with this. I mean, that ranks up with women watching daytime soaps. That ranks with filling your life with politics as a point and purpose in life. I mean, it's over. Why are you alive? And I do agree that you can use that because it is excellence. It's an example of excellence out there, where the best wins, regardless of the traits. I mean, a true non-discriminatory environment would be professional sports, because there's just so much money riding on it. Also shows that minorities can excel in certain things. Oh, nosies! We didn't mean that. We just want to bitch and whine all the time. And so you could use it as you display here, either be a trans sports or trans people in women's sports. Or using the example, well, you're for meritocracy here. You can use that to try to argue with the normies, conformies, and inferiors, like, hey, don't you see some hypocrisy? And what you described happens all the time. They'll circle the wagons and protect their hypocrisy because it's more important for them to live in a perfect mental state than it is to live in a world of empiricism and non-hypocrisy because it hurts their pride and they got nothing else going on. It's like, well, wait, look at the NBA. Don't you think that's meritocratic? Don't you think that's a good? Would you like us to like handicap people like Harrison Bergeron? I mean, you could do that. That might be a little too literate for the stupid people out there. Like, what about Harrison Bergeron? What's that? I don't know. Here, read this. Yeah, but. And I guess the trans women sports angle, it doesn't really have anything to do with sports because the beauty pageant or anything where, I guess hiring anywhere where there's competition for a position or a first place or get a job or get the contract. It's nice watching women as a group who vote generally Democrat for genuine bigotry. Women, you do, girls, listen to me. You vote Democrat, right? And we're going to give preferential treatment to different groups of people based on traits they were born with. There's the complete opposite of what Martin Luther King said and is the definition of isms and ists and sexism, discrimination, all that other stuff. But it's the good kind. And then it happens to you because now they created and largely created. There are, of course, trans people, but people are getting on that bandwagon. Oh, yeah, I totally am trans. And now, because it's in the intellectual dishonesty where it's like a guy who can't really compete and they have no moral qualms. Well, yep, I'm a girl. And now they're number one, which I don't understand. It's hypocritical. It's a lie. But you girls vote that in. You allow for it. So generally, I know there might be some libertarian or conservative women in various sports groups, but probably not. You voted that in. And I like seeing something that's incredibly important to you destroyed. Like my culture and society was destroyed by leftist politics. Right? We are no longer meritocratic. I like seeing your sports destroyed. I like seeing your beauty patches destroyed. Whatever was very important to you, now a guy could just walk in, claim to be trans, and absolutely. How many times was it? Okay, Times had a woman up on the thing. Playboy Times had Woman of the Year. I think it was a woman. Playboy's had multiple men up posing as women, and then I think it was GQ. It's like Women of the Year, plural, and it was either 5 or 10. And they're all dudes, biological dudes anyway. Okay, ladies. In other words, the trans women's in sports, that exposes a larger cultural, political hypocrisy that we have in society. As does like, well, hey, you're for meritocracy in your sports. Well, yeah, but not in the rest of the world. That affects my politics, my popularity. They might be ways to open up a conversation, but you're more of a hopeful man than I am if you think that these people have any intention to being intellectually honest. Look, they're already low IQ people. They're already pretty stupid and hypocritical people. Where if they're religious about their sports, like this is what they value their lives off of. They're dumb, they're low IQ, they're philosophically flawed. You're not going to get them to adhere to intellectual honesty and being just honest about it or smart about it. Well, you know what, Bob? You're right. His name's not Bob. That is a hypocrisy of my thinking. I got to think about that. No, they're just going to be, and then emotion. Or the nervous laugh, yeah, you're going to ride, sports ball, and then go on living your hypocritical life and wonder why your life turns out sucky. So, no, you're right. I don't think we've ever had it where like, oh, sport, you got to ban sports. It's stupid. It's bad. Like, no, I mean, enjoy your sports. I even watch occasional football. You go eat at bars all the time or restaurants. They got okay, let's watch it. And I do like golf. I do like watching golf because it's just so much better than the at it. I'm like, man, look at. And I will say, Great one, and I kind of had this observation because we're out west now. Cowboy sports, for lack of a better, Western sports is pretty big out here, and there's a Western like rodeo and stuff like that, and that is just as commonly on the television out here in South Dakota as you would find. And that's the other, they don't have any professional teams out here, so it may be Denver teams or something like that. But bull riding and cattle wrestling, and there's all these different sub sports within a rodeo, bronco ride, all that other kind of stuff, lassoing. You kind of watch, it's new, it's different, but I'm sure after like 3 or 4 hours, I'm like, okay, they take the horse out, they run around the barrel, they do the lasso thing, they get the calf, they tie it up. It's different to watch, but it would get boring. But something like golf, holy cow, like I'll never get to that level, man. I'll just never get there. And that's all good. That's all good. You can't be working all the time. But man, the second you think that the second you derive value from it, it's over. You're not alive. You're not a human. Get out of here. Go do something else. For those of you who cannot find sports ball exciting at all, and you're like wondering why am I bored? Why do I have this apprehension? Why do I not want to go to the bar to get some wings to watch the sports ball? Why am I bored? But is there something wrong with me? This is for you younger kids too. No, you're just really smart. So get Curse of the High IQ written by me. See, over here is you. You're like, this is dumb, watching the guys throw the orange sphere through the red ring for the billionth freaking time. And then over here is everybody's like, what, bro? You're not down for the Milwaukee Bucks? What's wrong with you? You want to fight or something? Oh, look at this square over here not wearing another man's jersey. These people, they're actually pretty thin. They don't actually represent those people. They should be fatter, and they should have a bunch of wings and a diet beer in front of them. If you're wondering, like, hey, why am I not liking the popular? Why do I not like going to a loud nightclub where everyone is drinking and there's a cover charge? We got to stand out in the cold to pay $20 for me to yell at people and be yelled at and not get women's numbers. You, sir or ma'am, might be a smart person. And this world was not built for you. It was, but did you see how many people show up at the sports ball? They drive 3 hours, they pay for the parking. All right, they got to walk all the way. They get a seat way up there for $300. They can barely make out Tom Brady. And then they're screaming and angry and yelling when the thing doesn't go their way. Does that confuse you? Are you like, what? No, I'd rather read a book. Well, then make this book might be for you. Get it. Be confused no more. All right. Vlad Elkham's in the house. $2. Provide a program for Sports Ball Addicts Anonymous. No. I want him to suck. What else are they going to do, Chad? What's their opportunity cost? See, like if you're on drugs or an alcoholic or something like that, your opportunity cost might be, oh, my career or my family. So you have a reason. What do people like? The core of their life is watching the sports analysis show with the old washed up sports bros with the ridiculously loud colored suits on doing an analysis. That's their life. What is their opportunity cost? Nothing. They have nothing to give up. You might as well do meth. Is that it? Boom. See you guys later. Toodles.